Wakenya karibuni. So ushaambiwa when the devil is working so hard for you. Hapa ndio sasa president anaelewa when the devil is so busy working for him. Now imagine the president sijui alikuwa wapi huku mbele ya watu sana, okay? Alikuwa tu mbele ya watu kule Narok, by the way. Then huko Narok kuna shamba hapo, shamba ni private, ni ya mzee fulani alikuwa anaitwa Cheluget. Sasa Cheluget shamba yake kuna watu waliokupa hiyo shamba and they are there illegally. Now the president comes forward and tells people that ameongea na huyu mzee, mambo iko sawa na watu waendelee kuishi hapa, hakuna shida, which is purely land grabbing. Now that is not even my problem. My problem is the president is claiming to have talked to someone mwenye alikufa. Isaiah Cheluget died on 26th mwezi wa 6 2017. Fanya hesabu yako, sasa tuko 2025. Okay? Tuko 2025. 2017, someone has died so many years, ameshaoza hata amebaki mifupa. But the president is busy telling people of that area, muendelee kuishi hapo, sisi tumeongea na mzee. So who have you talked to? I told you watu wengi kwa serikali wanataka President Ruto atoke mapema sana. It is only that they are not telling him directly. So how can they misguide him to lie this broad daylight? A very big fat lie. Yenye watu wote wanajua, prezo, unadanganya. You are lying. You are really lying to the people. How do you talk to the dead? Ama anaendaga na summon watu wamekufa. Unajua pia sisi tunaweza kuwa nasema hivyo. Kumbe unashindwa. Rais. Rais, unaongeaje na watu walikufa man? This is not even possible man. It is not even possible that this can happen. How? So anyway, mnaweza sema ni maneno yangu, mimi namwekelea. We have the clip here. I want you to listen to it. We play it out and then when niambie, how is it possible? Because I am sure that there must be questions that he asks before he says these things that he say, or he's just a person who doesn't care and will even grab the land of a dead person, of which I am sure Isaiah Cheluget akona familia yake, akona watu wake, na watu wenye occupy shamba yake illegally, they are not supposed to be there. It is not even supposed to be partitioned. Why should you be partitioning a private land that belongs to Isaiah Cheluget? We bana chitapokwe. This cannot be allowed to continue. It is so misguided. It is misleading, Mr. President. With all due respect, you know I respect you. I differ with you on most things. But please, let us not grab private properties just to please a few crowd of people. And you know it is illegal. You are the president, you are the leader of this country. They should stop. Either way, Wakenya skizeni hapa. Ama mimi nadanganya.
Sasa wacha mimi niwaambie. Maneno ya shamba ya Cheluget tumeita Cheluget. Tumeketi chini na yeye. Tumekubaliana. Hiyo shamba tutanunua kama serikali, alafu tugawie wale wako pale waendelee na kuishi hapo. Kuna huyo mungwana anaitwa Bwana Kibara, sasa ana take over hapa Amalo. Yeye sasa ndiye atakuwa DCC wenu wa hapa. Na kazi yako Bwana DCC, umesikia vile nimesema. Kazi yako ya kwanza nataka nijue ile mashule ambayo inahitajika madarasa katika sehemu hii, ndio nipange vile zitajengwa. Kazi yako ya pili ni kupanga shamba inaitwa Cheluget hapo pamoja na PS wangu, ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba dunia hiyo tunanyorosha, wananchi wanaishi kwa salama. Kazi yako ya tatu ni kupanga vile hawa vijana, kuna wazee na vijana walihamishwa kutoka kule msituni. Sasa lazima tuwapange vile wataenda mtaratara sawa sawa. Tumeelewana? Na hapa hii hospitali mimi nimesema nitajengea watu, uwe unanipatia report kila wiki mahali imesonga. Ama namna gani? Tunaelewana jameni? Hapa tumeanzisha ofisi ya huyu muungano wa DCC. Nataka nimshukuru mjumbe wenu Bwana Kitelai, ametupatia milioni 10. Bwana Kitelai, nitakuongezea milioni 30 ndio tukamilishe hiyo DCC office. Bwana Omolo hapa PS wangu wa mambo ya interior, fuatilia na upatia hawa drawing ile mzuri. Tujenge jengo pale ambaye ni ya kisasa. Tumekubaliana?
Na makiu president akisema hizi vitu, hii land iko na dispute. Na hata kuna information hapa mnaweza angalia ni date gani? Friday July 24 19th. Why former PC Isaiah Cheluget's family can't occupy 5,800 acres of land despite court victory. Okay? Wanasema hapa, When former powerful Nyanza Provincial Commissioner Isaiah Cheluget was allocated 5,500 acres of land in Narok South in 1974, he did not foresee a situation where 50 years later, his family would be in the corridors of justice seeking to evict invaders. The 600 people who invaded the land 14 years ago and subdivided it among themselves have thrice lost their claim to the agricultural productive land. Thrice. They forcibly kicked us out, subdivided the land, and erected structures around 1999 and 2000. They stole and vandalized some of the property and drove away cattle, kicking workers out, said Johnston Kipkoech, the eldest son of the late Cheluget. The invasion kicked off a legal battle which we have thrice won in court, including at the High Court and the Court of Appeal. The courts have held that the property legally belongs to our late father, said Mr. Kipkoech. But despite their legal victories, the family cannot access the land due to hostility from the occupants, who are suspicious of any visitor. Cheluget, who was also a prominent farmer and businessman, died in June 26, 2017 at Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu and was buried at his home in Latin, Kericho County. Fact-finding mission. A group of journalists on a fact-finding mission in the area were kicked out by the occupants who did not want any photographs taken or interviews conducted. In the latest legal battle, the 600 occupants lost an appeal before the Environmental and Land Court in a judgment delivered on June 11, 2024. Judge Mbogo Kitonga of the Environment and Lands Court dismissed a case filed by Charles Cons on behalf of the occupants, saying they had no legal claim to the property belonging to the family of the former administrator. Okay? Tuendelee kabisa. The case filed on July 31st, 2018 relates to LR number Narok CIS Mara Motiok 54, registered between 1974 and 1980 as the property of Mr. Isaiah Kiplagat Cheluget by the government. Mr. Johnston Kipkoech Langat, Julius Kipkurui Langat, and Lawrence Kimtai Langat as personal representatives of the Cheluget deceased, Registrar of Titles Narok County Surveyor and Attorney General were cited in the case filed by Mr. Cons as respondents. The occupants sought an order of cancellation of the land title deed that they be allowed to enter the suit property, demarcate and survey prospective portions of land occupied by the plaintiffs. They also sought a permanent injunction restraining the defendants from interfering with the plaintiff's possession and use of part of the suit property, restraining the defendants from selling, charging, or otherwise dealing with the property, but the court rejected the request. Unaelewa? In the court documents, the plaintiffs claimed to have occupied the land before 1970, yet documents show the demarcation and adjudication process was done in 1974. So wanadanganya. On their part, the defendants in the court documents stated that the plaintiffs had no legal claim to the land and were out to mislead the court to justify their illegal occupation of the property where they are trespassers in a breach of the deceased's estate's right to property under Article 440 of the Constitution. The plaintiffs have illegally used and continued to reside and use the said land in contravention of the law. The plaintiffs are hostile to the extent they have been involved in acts of arson and pilferage against the deceased's property and assets. Read the court document. Documents filed in court states that the land was initially owned by the Purko clan of the Maasai community and was given to the defendant by Ole Sandale, who was a senior chief. Cheluget, deceased, was in the peaceful enjoyment of the land until 1999, when some people invaded it claiming to be members of the Segemian community, thus disrupting farming activities on the property. the deceased representatives filed a criminal claim and a complaint against some of the invaders who were charged in court and convicted for a jail term. The defendants averred in court documents. It emerged that the plaintiffs filed originating summons which was dismissed, leading to an appeal against the court decision, which was dismissed by the appellate court. The defendants stated that the manner in which Cheluget became the owner of the suit property cannot be litigated afresh in a view of the decision of the Court of Appeal, which was a final decision. If any of the plaintiffs had any customary law rights on the suit property, such rights would have been extinguished upon registration of the land under the repealed Registered Land Act. The title was acquired through a legal and an open procedure, the defendants stated in court documents. The Registrar of Titles, Narok County Surveyor, and Attorney General stated in court documents filed May 2029 that the land legally belonged to Mr. Cheluget and that the plaintiffs were in blatant violation of Section 7 and 26 of the Limitation of Actions Act. Unaelewa? This is a gross abuse of the court process, to say the least, ruled Justice Gitonga when he dismissed the case. A decision has been made both by the High Court and the Court of Appeal over the subject matter and concerning the plaintiffs' ownership claims over the subject matter. Yet they still attempt to devise a tactic to claim similar ownership of the same subject matter, Justice Gitonga stated. He noted that the plaintiffs were using all available means necessary to claim ownership of the property and trying to introduce a different course of action, with the matter having been dealt with by the High Court and Court of Appeal, and introduce a different set of new petitioners, of which now the president here is actually allowing these invaders of parcels of lands that belongs to individuals to illegally occupy in the name of Ameongea the dead. This is so wrong, Mr. President, and I think this is a shame to the nation, and it is a shame to the people of Narok that you allow one of your, your legally landowner to be disrespected even when dead. So this is a shame to the nation. Anyway.